Welcome to the 40 Finance channel, everybody. Today we're going to be looking at the QQQ and seeing how much have the top holdings changed over the past 10 years. We're entering the final weeks of 2024, so we'll flash back to the final days of 2014 and see how the holdings compare. And the reason I like to do this is because I'm not sure that everybody realizes the small changes that do happen in the QQQ over time. It is not a static ETF by any stretch. You obviously have the top dogs that have been in there for a long time, but changes are made, and that's part of the reason that this particular ETF has been so successful. And in terms of success, you can see over the past year, it's up 35%. The market as a whole is up. And that is a big part to do with the QQQ success. And if you bought one share on the first day of trading here in January of 2024, you'd be up 27%. Now, in order to see what the top holdings were in 2014, I did some research and I wanted to make sure that the facts were correct. So I found an old PDF on the Invesco website that was published near the end of 2014. It looks like December 31st. 2014, and that gives us our top 30 holdings at the time. Note that this says Power Shares QQQ. That moniker of Power Shares is really just a branding element, and that has since been dropped. But this is, in fact, the same QQQ that you see today. So let's see who we have in these top 30 holdings right off the bat. You've got Apple, 13 or so percent, and Microsoft at 21%. If we click over to this year, you see I do not have them grouped by sector. It's all percentage of fund. Apple is still on top, but instead of 13%, as you see here, Apple is now 8.84%. Microsoft, which was in the second position in 2014, that has dropped just a little bit, 7.68% compared to 8% in 2014, and our old friend NVIDIA, which has come up very strong, obviously, over the past 10 years, heck, over the past, 3 years maybe. And NVIDIA is now the second highest holding in the QQQ. So to me, that's super notable if you are a long-term investor, because if you just bought this, obviously, in 2014 and you didn't follow any news, you just sort of said to yourself, I think technology is going to rule the world, and you bought into this, you would have not needed to know much, if anything, about NVIDIA, and it would have automatically climbed in your portfolio to the second highest position. All right, going down to the next tier, we have Amazon at 5%, Meta at 5%. And Google, for whatever reason, they have Google divided into the two share types or share tiers. You got Google at 241, Google at 232 for the A and the C shares. So that we're just going to say that's 5%. All right, so 5% for Alphabet, 5% or so for Amazon, 5% for Meta. Let's go back to 2014. Google, 3.62%. And 3.6%, so let's just say it's 6.5%. So the percentage weight of Google has actually went down, very small, 1.5% or so over the past 10 years. And if we take Meta, which of course is, the new name, 5% versus 3.57% back in 2014. Now what about Amazon? Amazon all the way down, 2.82%. So that's been up about 2% or so. And then obviously if you look at it from like a standings perspective, you have Amazon coming in at number 4, Meta/Facebook coming in at the 5th highest position. I believe Google would fall right behind that at the 6th or 7th. Whereas back in 2014, if we look at this, Google combined was the 3rd highest position. And Amazon was way down here, roughly 9th or so. And then Facebook was roughly the 4th highest position, though at a much lower percentage weight. So what's missing, and your brain's probably looked ahead on this, Intel has fallen sharply. You have Gilead Sciences, no longer anywhere near the top 10. I don't even know if they're in the index as a whole. The QQQ has dozens and dozens and dozens of small percentage lots. I'm not going to spend any time going back to look at all the slivers of stocks that they have in this particular video, but just know that Gilead, it might be there, but it's no longer close to the very top. Cisco and Comcast, I think we will find if we go to 2024, Cisco is still in near the top, although I would say, if I had to guess, that's probably like a top 12 or 15 right there. And then just kind of eyeballing it, Comcast probably dropped to a top 25. But that doesn't even mention another larger addition that we see here in 2024, and that is Tesla. 4%. That comes in, that's top 10, even when you combine Google. And Costco has moved up into the top 10. So you go back through here and you see some of these that have obviously dipped down, Biogen, eBay, what else? There's Costco, Starbucks, Texas Instruments, Yahoo obviously doesn't exist in its current form. But the point here is this. As you see these differences, most notably Tesla and NVIDIA, what has sank are the ones that haven't had as remarkable of a performance. They've slowly slipped out of the top tier of the index. And big time winners, Tesla, NVIDIA, and I'm sure there's others, particularly if we go further down the list, have creeped up into the top positions. This is what makes the QQQ a very interesting ETF, and this is one of the reasons that it has had so much success. Now, obviously, we've had a huge technology boom, particularly over the past maybe even 20 years. The last 10 years have seen things go to another scale just by the nature of phones. And now we're getting into this AI/automation world where the power of chips is becoming more and more nuanced. But if you did absolutely nothing with your QQQ holdings, you would already be well positioned for that. And that makes me think, too, with chips, likely one chip name that was almost cast out as irrelevant back in 2014 would have been AMD. And here's AMD. So if you went back, I don't know the entire history of AMD, but they fell on significantly hard times before Lisa Su came in and turned the ship around, call it 2019, 2020, something like that. And actually, let's take a minute here and look at AMD over on Seeking Alpha. By the way, if you're a new viewer, Seeking Alpha is my favorite stock research platform. I have a significant coupon code for you in the description. If you're interested in supporting my channel, please use the affiliate link below. You also get a 7-day free trial on the front end. But with AMD, let's do the 10-year. Okay, so we were talking this goes back to 2015. But in 2014/15, you had AMD at a couple bucks a share. So there were people, obviously, who bought that stock and maybe bought that and forgot about it and whatnot. And they are up, quite a bit from $2 to $141. But what's cool for QQQ shareholders is you would not have needed to know anything about AMD and their transformation and where this world's leading to. And if it continues to outperform like it has, then that little sliver will get bigger and bigger in your QQQ holdings. All right, before you go, don't forget to check out that special offer for Seeking Alpha down in the comments. Potentially support my channel. Hope everybody's having a great day. We'll see you on the next video.